afternoon to everybody who have joined the session on time. The session time is from 3 to 4, and I am Sujata, the master trainer for the IELTS Success Series. I, along with my colleague Ankit, would like to welcome you for today's session. And I know there are more people who would join the session. So I would keep the pace a little slow, to begin with, so that I don't have to be repetitive when people join in late. Okay, so let's get into what's the topic for today. Before I show the next slide, I'm sure those who have registered would know what to expect in today's session. So use the chat, start typing. It's your time to show me that you are active. Okay, so my eyes are on the chat box, and I want everybody to be writing to me. What are we going to do in today's session? Are we just going to talk to each other, or are we going to do some action in the IELTS Success Series? Come on, lovely audience. Dinesh, Gayatri, Siddhi. Siddhi says reading strategies. Okay. Vasu says reading module. Anything in specific that you think or anticipate that I would be covering? Would I be choosy, or would I cover all? What do you expect? How would I justice 45 minutes of presentation action and 15 minutes of Q&A? Okay. Yeah, Siddhi, it's out and out reading today. Of course, that's how IELTS Success Series is absolutely focused in what that 1 hour is all about. So Suresh, by the end of 1 hour, do you think you would have some improvement in your reading score? Siddhi, reading is challenging as long as you feel it to be challenging. If you work with me and you follow what I am saying, I can guarantee you can have success. 10 minutes, I can tell you the best tips to cover in the entire IELTS and have success. But for that, you really need to have very high active listening skills. Yeah, so I'm not doing anything like that right now. I'm just going to do reading with you. So let's do this, okay? Dinesh, I see what you are saying. I don't think they have a process in which they have any master data to say master link notification. You need to keep visiting the IDP IELTS website. They keep updating the session links and the dates. You got to self do that. Okay, Dinesh? All right, so lovely audience, here we are on the aims of the session. It's very important for me not to assume that you know the reading test. Yeah, like a good trainer, I would do the basics that makes reading complete from the step A to the step Z. I will choose certain things to practice, but I will give you tips on everything, okay? Everything that makes reading complete today. And that's the reason I believe in practice. And I believe the problems that students come up and lose unnecessarily is because of the unfamiliar vocabulary. I want that fear to go away for good. I want you to write to IDP and say, thank you for, for helping us fight our fears. Thank you for having the success made so easy for us. I want such feedback. Suresh, Dinesh, prepare well with the tips and strategies that I give you. But once you've taken the exam, come back and say what worked for you, what didn't work for you. Okay. And we are happy to kind of put more things rolling. Please understand it's a mixed class group. So some people understand more, some people understand less. Okay. So top tips to manage time, which is again a gray area for many. And by the time the others join in, I'm going to play this video, which is going to spread all positivity in today's session. Okay. So here, this video is for you. Let me switch off my video for better transmission. And you all have to confirm whether you can see the screen or no. Okay. I'm going to reshare because I know I couldn't see the green tab. It is still gray and it's saying it's loading. Yes, it's all green now. Can you confirm you can see my screen well, everybody? Chat box, some answers, please. Bravo, Suresh. I really appreciate a quick response. So over to you, those who are joining the IELTS Success Series for the first time, this video will definitely share a lot of insight as to how IELTS marks your success. We believe in IELTS, and I hope this session makes you believe in IELTS too. Bye.
A sweet little girl and flight of her dreams.
Let her fly.
From her rooftop, not so high, she would catch the planes go soaring by. Growing up, she told her friends about her dream of traveling the world one day.
ਅੰਗਰੇਜ਼ੀ ਤਾਂ ਤੇਰੀ ਸਾਡੇ ਵਰਗੀ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਐਗਜ਼ਾਮ ਦੇਣ ਚੱਲੀਆਂ ਤੂੰ ਆਇਲਸ ਦਾ ਕੋਈ ਵੀ ਇੰਗਲਿਸ਼ ਦਾ ਟੈਸਟ ਦੇ ਦੇ ਜੱਸੀ ਆਇਲਸ ਦੀ ਤਿਆਰੀ ਜ਼ਰੂਰੀ ਹੈ
ਕੋਈ ਵੀ ਇੰਗਲਿਸ਼ ਦਾ ਟੈਸਟ ਨਹੀਂ ਹਰਵਿੰਦਰ ਕੋਈ ਵੀ ਇੰਗਲਿਸ਼ ਦਾ ਟੈਸਟ ਮਤਲਬ ਆਪਣੇ ਸੁਪਨਿਆਂ ਨਾਲ ਸਮਝਾਉਂਦਾ ਆਇਲਸ ਮਤਲਬ ਆਪਣੇ ਸੁਪਨਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਸੱਚ ਕਰਨ ਦੀ ਪੱਕੀ ਨੀਂਹ ਪੱਕੇ ਇਰਾਦੇ ਤੇ ਚੰਗੀ ਤਿਆਰੀ ਹੋਵੇ ਆਇਲਸ ਕਲੀਅਰ ਕਰਨਾ ਕੋਈ ਔਖਾ ਕੰਮ ਨਹੀਂ
She was very clear of what it would take to make her dreams real. Her passion for her dreams was so strong that she let no doubt stand in her way. She was determined to get closer to her goals with every passing day.
My given name is Jaspreet. My hobbies are singing, dancing.
wait, listen.
I know you will do it.
yes she will do it come
Bye. Hey Jessie, heard you cleared some English test. Not just some English test. It's the IELTS test. Look, here's my admission letter and the visa. I'm all set to go for studies abroad. Didn't you also wish to move abroad? Just appear for IELTS and come with me. Jassi!
hey Jassi
Hey, I threw a party for you all just yesterday. What's this call about, huh? We have a breaking news for you. Harvinder has also started preparing for IELTS. That's like my buddy Harvinder. If I can clear IELTS, so can you.
Strong determination and good preparation. IELTS, flight for your dreams. IELTS makes it possible.
All right, that's for the video, and I'm back on the screen. For those, who could see the video through and through, I hope you're feeling inspired. And, just like this Jussie, just like this main character, when you start your IELTS preparation, you may be jittery, you may be unsure, you may not have the best of English. But when you are into the preparation of IELTS, it gets better, it makes you better. And by the time you've done with IELTS, you see a personality development. Communication skills are complete when your listening, reading, writing, speaking are fixed. And you can only make success for visa, for any dream job or any dream university if you are communicative, right? So I would want all the sessions that IDP is bringing to you to be utilized by you optimally well by participating actively, by doing the questions that I give you. Don't have this fear, oh, I may have it wrong. It's okay. I'm here to help. I don't move to the next screen unless I don't explain, okay? It's not about how many slides I need to cover. It's about how I have to cover. And you are very important for me, all those who are taking out time and being in session for today, okay? So which is the first slide that will make you aware of the reading? Because the first thing I said, I will cover what is reading, what's the duration, what happens in reading. So this is a slide which you will always see perpetually in every session, because without this, I cannot get into details, okay? So testing your reading skills, not your knowledge. So it's the English ability test. Can you read? Can you comprehend? Can you answer the questions logically from the comprehension given? And for that, you got to utilize skimming, scanning, and reading for detail. And of course, everything in life has a time attached to it. So does reading. Yeah, it's 60 minutes in the test zone and it's spread over 3 sections. You may read up to 3,000 words or slightly less. And every time, no matter where the paper is, India, abroad, it's always 40 questions. It's the same pattern, same checking. That's the beauty of IELTS. Now, what are the question types? Everyone who's present here today should be aware that when it's multiple choice questions, they always come in order, okay? The answers, how the passage progresses, answers will also come in sequence. True, false, not given, yes, no, not given. Even these two are absolutely in order. Never the second answer would be found before the first. Of course, you can find it first, the second answer, but the passage will have the first answer first and then the second answer. But at times, the keywords become ghostly and we're not able to find it. So it's okay to, switch our attention to the next question. It's fine. Now the matching questions. Now matching would no be matching if it's in sequence, right? So there it goes. There's no sequence at all. Well, if it's haphazard, anywhere the answer could be. You got to understand the flow of the text, the purpose of the text, and your time management skills, your productivity. It will be absolutely sky high. Okay. Now, one thing in this is about the sentence endings. This category question is in sequence. Now, if you write this somewhere in your notes copy today, this will be very helpful for you because most of you waste time in just looking everywhere and anywhere the sentence endings. It will always be in sequence. If there are 5 sentence endings to be done, then the first would be found before the second in the passage. Okay. Now, in the completion based question, whether that's sentence completion or notes completion or diagram label, in these only the sentence completion would be in sequence. Summary, notes, table, diagram may not be in sequence. If some are, not all of them. So if probably there are 7 questions in summary notes, 3 may be in sequence, others may not be. So don't assume that sequence has to be there. Okay. And short answer will always be in sequence. So this is a very important thing for you. And this is what is going to help you, A, set the expectation straight from yourself. B, transfer this to help you manage time better. Okay. An aware candidate has a better performance. And that's what these slides are contributing towards. I'm just looking at the chat because I think somebody's messaged something to me. Okay, Vasu, you're free to kind of put across your doubt with a screenshot to the Cambridge Help Desk ID, and they would be happy to review and get back to you on that. And for me, I've been in this industry for more than 2 decades, and no matter which reference book are you looking at, it always has to be an authentic one. Anything produced by Cambridge, who are the paper setters, they would definitely follow what they have published. Okay, this is everything from the IELTS.org website. That's a Cambridge website, and IDP is the sole partner, in India to deliver this exam. So I have given you an answer, though it's not a Cambridge session, but since I knew the answer, I've given you that. Please write to them. They'll be happy to take it up with the content creator team in case the hiccup is real. Okay, but do not take that as a base forward. This is the base. Unless the IELTS.org website doesn't show a change, the change cannot be accepted. Okay. So here, no matter which question category it is, entire reading test, 60 minutes, 40 questions, what is it that you have to prepare yourself with? There needs to be a bucket list, of skills which you need to be ready with. So, this screen covers all the skills. Can you read can you give a summary of what you're reading? Probably you read 4 lines. Can you summarize those 4 lines? What's the main idea of those 4 lines? Then you're ready for the IELTS. Can you read for detail and not get perplexed and not get bored? You need to build up your reading skills. That means your reading is not only for the exam preparation, it needs to be a daily habit. You got to be picking up a newspaper, e-newspaper, physical newspaper, and make sure you're reading to enjoy reading. You may not like it the day 1, you may not like it the day 2, but gradually, whatever becomes your habit, you start enjoying it. Okay, so my request to everybody, reading for detail, will only be successful if you have reading habit for a day-to-day purpose. So that's very important. Now, recognizing writer's opinion does not come easy, but it comes with practice, and you got to push yourself to see those words and vocabulary who are so nicely sitting and letting you know the like and the dislike or the intention. So recognizing writer's opinion is a key skill, and the third section really demands in the reading this skill as well. Now, recognizing attitudes purpose is on the same lines, and skim and scan is the basic. No reading passage can be done, yeah, for any exam without skimming and scanning. That is, you read to understand, to tell the gist, and you scan to find the keywords of the question to be able to get to the answer. And of course, what's the main idea? This word keeps coming every now and then, whether it's the IELTS essay or it's the reading passage or it's the listening excerpt. Now, what's the main idea? I really want you to understand this. A main idea is never introduced with a pronoun. It's always the main topic around which the information is going to be built by using the WH thought process. When did it happen? Where did it happen? How did it happen? Who did it? So there will be a topic. So probably the passage is about artificial intelligence, in section 1. And moment the intro para will start, it will start creating basic information. And after the first 2 lines, it will start using referencing or cohesive devices. That means, lexical cohesion or grammatical cohesion. So main ideas are being referred again and again in the same para. And every para is a story. It has a main idea and a purpose. Probably the para 1 is talking about the introduction of the birth or the coining of artificial intelligence. Probably the second para is talking about the utility, the uses of artificial intelligence. Probably the third para is talking about the disadvantages. So every para is unique, every para is story, but together they're making the complete story. Okay, so they are connected, and you got to understand the purpose and the flow, and the main idea will become so clear because it's referred to again and again through the different WH tangents, and the main idea doesn't necessarily has a referencing pronoun. Okay, so please look at this carefully. This is one of the major slips and very time consuming for you. Some of you, not all of you. Yeah, so understanding opposing ideas and arguments. Of course, when you understand the flow of the text, you need to understand how the text is building. They may first talk about the advantages, and then all of a sudden, they bring in contradictory words. They bring in contradiction. So can you identify those opposing ideas? Can you identify that vocabulary? That's what you're skilling yourself up. So please, lovely audience for today, the big message that we have for you today: reading is enjoyable. Reading is scoring. Reading is a great skill for you to have with you as your strength, as a student, as a working professional. So please don't do half-hearted preparation for the IELTS. It gives you the opportunity to become better and best. So these are the things that you need to be able to get 40 out of 40 in an IELTS exam. And many of you get it. Okay. So I hope those who are attending today, all of you get it. So what are the power tips out and out? Okay. Beat anything. What are the power tips? Of course, reading the instructions, what you have to do in the question. And don't get tempted and don't get too proud of your memory. So please don't get into reading the whole passage first, because people who are not avid readers cannot contain so much information. Very few, I think 5%, 4% of the students really have the ability to retain, that lengthy information, and they don't need to go back to the information again and again. So reading itself is complete to answer questions for them, and that's a rarity. So let's not compete with them. Let's make humble skills more successful and achievable skills more successful. So my big suggestion would be, don't be tempted to read the whole passage. It may not prove to be beneficial to you. You may read some question first, highlight keywords depending on which question category you're on. Probably that question, section 1 has 13 questions and 2 question categories. You don't need to read all 13 together. You got to see whether that's a sequence-based question. So read 2, start going to the para 1, skim, scan, close read, and solve it. You stuck, move to the next one. Don't always go to the passage with 2 questions, because it helps you utilize your energy and time more sensibly, more wisely, and more productively. So I know words are there and they're perplexing, and the vocabulary really puts you to a full stop, may put you, but please don't do that to yourself. There'll always be words which you don't know. Even after doing English honors and having been attached to English for so many years, I still come across certain words for which I can understand connotation, but for which even I would like to see, what's the exact dictionary word, and I never hesitate for that. It's fine, absolutely fine, but I understand connotation because that's what is required for my reading understanding. So skim, scan, word synonyms in the text, read around the word. So whenever an alien word is sitting, attack it. Become that warrior and say, I am not scared of you, and I'm going to read the information and I'm going to champion the information, because I know understanding every word is not necessary, but understanding the purpose of that word is more necessary. And thankfully, the neighboring words or the neighboring sentences are so helpful in that. Okay. So this is something that you really have to exercise today when I make the practice zone open for you, which is in the next 2-3 minutes. Okay. Again, not every word is important. Keep going. Match ideas, not words. Very important. Now, why true false not given goes wrong? Why opinions and attitudes go wrong? Because we are hunters. We love hunting for words. And we say, oh my God, school was successful. Unseen passage was full marks. I'm going to utilize the same school skills to an international exam. Bravo. But you may not be able to manage the time of 40 out of 40, because the international exam requires slightly higher understanding and it has more intense passages. School never gave you up to 3,000 words and never made you only do reading for 1 hour, in a test, I'm saying. So please wake up. Time is to grip yourself and become better than what you were, because you're growing up. Yeah. So match ideas is very important, and words together give ideas. Single word vocabulary hunt is not helpful. Okay. So there'll be synonyms, there'll be antonyms, understand paraphrasing, spell the word correctly. So you are so good. You just have to transfer what you see, but don't get overconfident and don't stop looking at the word spelling. Just the double T, the EI position, and especially if you've taken a pen and paper, your handwriting for I and E or M and N, and in fact T, even L, they look so strange and they become a spelling error. So please be legible if you're doing a pen and paper test, and be careful about your spelling. That's just unnecessarily giving away your taken marks, that you deserved it, but you gave it away by being careless. Yeah, that's called carelessness. So grammatically correct, that's one check that you got to do. So fill in the blanks is where, you like one word only, but I see 2 words. Which word should I say? Come on, the word that will sit there as a single word as an answer would make sentence absolutely correct. And you need to choose between the 2, which is leaving the sentence weight. You leave that word aside. It should be grammatically correct and it should make sense. Okay, that's the only key to get out of this dilemma, which is self-created. It's not required at the first place only. So to skim, what does it mean? To scan, what does it mean? To close read, what does it mean? You all have to understand these power skills. Skim is only reading keywords or reading information for general understanding. You don't really need to pause to understand words. You need to understand 4 or 5 lines of a para together saying what. That's just like skimming, like a speed reading. But don't read so fast that you don't read for comprehension. Don't do that. So keep a pace which your mind and you can adjust together, and then do skimming accordingly. And scan is, when you know the keywords of the question, and now it's your time to trace at least 2 to 3 of those keywords, because around that, the information can be found for the answer. So those words alone are not the answer, but those words can become traces or evidences that can lead you to the answer. Okay. So group of words convey information and affirm answers. Words can lead you to the answers. They're not the only answers. Please understand. Don't expect to have read the whole passage by the time you have finished answering the questions. You don't feel you've not done good justice because you've not read the entire word to word. Bravo, you were a smart worker. Okay. So you're a smart student. So all these skills can't be tested and tried on the test day, because of which IDP brings the best of the practice on their website. I hope you all have visited IELTSIDPindia.com. This website is your go-to site for free practice. Once you register for the IELTS, more material gets accessible, and that's when the registration is complete. Now comes the time for a practice zone. So everybody look carefully on the first category of the question. That's a true, false, not given. And the skill is, can you identify information? When you see information, don't ignore information. Don't assume information. Have evidence for the information. True, false, not given is fact-based, okay? What you see is what you give an answer to. So false definition is contradictory to the information of the statement in the passage. And true is absolutely in the same context and everything is traceable of the statement in the passage. Not given, it's neither true nor false, and the information is missing, because of which you cannot put it to any of the other two categories. Then it becomes a not given. Okay, so no guesswork. You got to really find a group of words to be able to get it right. So are you ready? What are the two things that you got to really look for? Synonyms or antonyms? And beware of distractors. A potential answer, which is not an answer, but looks like an answer, and you stop looking for the real answer, don't pause. So skimming is what comes to your rescue. Yeah, that you know, oh, two places, such things are there. I need to make sure I run across both the places and then decide which one was correct. Okay, so synonyms, antonyms, and distractors are something that you really need to keep an eye for. And this is the statement that I want you to focus before I show you the short passage or para. Take your time to read the questions. Nihar, I'm not so sure why you missed seeing which are in order, which are not. Yeah, and I cannot go back on what I have said, but I will show you the slide once more. You can take a click of it, Nihar. Be attentive and always join in time. People who joined in time cannot be made to hear the same thing again and again. I hope you all have seen carefully this question. There's an if conditional, and that's the para. I give you half a minute, skim, scan, and close. Give me an answer, please, in the chat. So I can see only two people really listening to me, Srushti, Jason, Vasu. So if it's a true, false, not given, Stelina, why are you writing yes? And those who are saying true, can you go back to it again, because it's an incorrect answer. So Priyanka, Dinesh, Atika, Gharmanshu, your answer is not correct. So anybody who's saying not given can write which word they can't find or what information they can't find. And those who are saying false, which is the correct answer, please give evidence for the false. Atika says success. Atika, success for what? You can't find success word and it's not given. What are you saying? Nihar, I get you. Look at distinct and look at one. One organic, distinct roles. Please see the difference. Yeah, distinct means different, and this is one. So here, for those, vocabulary was a problem. It shouldn't have been, because if you read carefully, it's saying, these environments can lead to new solutions, and it's saying it engages one organic group, okay? It's devoid of structure. So people involved have distinct roles. So here, it is a false. Thank you so much, Jason. Everybody look at it carefully. We're going to the next one, but before that, let me show you the other categories again, because someone wanted to take a click of this slide. So please take a click, and I will also go one slide more. Yeah, this one. So the one who asked me, which is in order, which is not in order, all the asterisks, wherever you see the asterisks, they are in order. I marked an asterisk in endings, sentence endings, but not in the others. Okay, so look carefully. In the completion, I marked it only for the sentence completion. Take a screenshot of this. And when I'm going further, I'm also covering this information again. Okay. Hope this helps. Can I move? Mohammed, is that all? Because that's all that I had shown, Mohammed. Yeah, this was the first one. Skimming scanning. This was the second slide, which are in order. It's a very useful information. These are the skills that you all have to be test ready. These are the generic skills which can help you perform anything well in the reading zone. This is special focus only on true false. This is a sequence-based answer. First answer will be found first. Always go in the para with 2 questions as focus. Solve anything that comes first, but you'll always find the first answer before the second answer. Don't spend too much time, more than 1 minute on any question, because you don't have so much of time. You can come back to it if time remains with you. Okay, we did this. Thank you for those who got it correct. Please look into these categories. Note completion and diagram, I have said, answers will not always be found in the order of text. Some may not. So please read for information carefully. Okay. It's all about skimming, scanning, and going to close reading. That's only the skill that comes handy here. That's it. It's a very basic skill. And usually you'll find these questions, in the first section or in the second section. You will not find these questions in the third section. Now it's time for you to do a fill in the blank, and there are 2 fill in the blanks. Look carefully into the blank. It's a sandwich blank and it's a end blank. So look at both and then go to the para, skim read it and scan for keywords. Wherever you find keywords, do close reading. I give you 2 minutes to solve this, please. Vasu, you were so quick. Mohammed, good, you got your slides. But Jason and Vasu, are you right? Are you not? Vasu, do you have a spelling error somewhere? Are your spellings correct? Okay. So we don't create things, we look at things, and exactly for the other person also. But others, please attempt. I'm not saying the answers are correct. I would want you to try, please. Read, pause for keywords in the second round, then read only around the keywords, please. Let's do it together. Nidhi, if you're there, I hope you're understanding. I'm trying to give you explanation in the categories that you have to solve. So Neha, try ought enough. So who feel they're not ought enough? Does the sentence make sense, Neha? If you feed this word and you read the whole sentence, is it really conveying a meaning, Neha? And Nihar, if you focus, productive was here, but the keywords were not so strong here. But only when we read and we did not give up and we completed the para, we saw a referencing pronoun which brought the answer. So this here made this successful. And they said it in a very different manner. Nihar, do you get this? Suresh, if you're saying numerous training sessions are aimed at people who feel they're not paying enough, it wouldn't be so correct, because here it's saying people who feel they're not enough. So are people feeling, they're not being paid enough and that is the reason they're assuming training sessions? Or are the people feeling they're not productive enough, that is the reason they're getting trained? Suresh, understand the question demand, who is a relative clause, and it gives you what are you going to the passage for. You're going to find the passage for the people's characteristic, why are they in the training session. Is that okay, Suresh? Suresh, I want you to read this para again. I would wait for you. Stelina, can you also read it again? Because this will not be making sense if I write close. People who feel they're not close enough, they take training sessions. It's not making sense, Selena. Yeah, the second one is correct for all, but 3-4 students had a different answer, which is absolutely okay. I want you to make errors so that you focus on the strategy with me. So when we say they're not structured enough, there is nothing around the structure that these keywords come. But this as a referencing pronoun to productive makes everything Anshul relative for this. It's a one word, Swati. And grammatically, time management doesn't feel, who feel they're not time management enough, it does not make any grammatical sense, Swati, correct? So my tips you need to use, does it make sense? Should I keep hunting more? And can I also look at this technique? Why I chose this one for you, because here the answer is not on the platter. The referencing pronoun takes you to the answer. Swati, this is a little tricky question, and that's the reason I've got it here. Srushti, the first answer is productive and the second one is perfectionist. Sorry, I missed seeing your answers, but I'm letting you know whether you can match whether your answers are correct or no. The first one is productive and the second one is perfectionist with an S. Okay. Thank you so much, everybody. We are moving ahead. I hope you all would remember these skills. We've spent good time together, on this. I again say, it's a cakewalk in some of the fill in the blanks when the entire thing is found as it is, and you just have to kind of dig it and take it out. But at times things are paraphrased, at times there are antonyms, at times the answer is widespread. And if we do this mistake of stopping to read and not reading the whole para, we may not get the right answer. Yeah. So please make sure skimming is also a part of your reading skills exercised on the test day and in your mock papers also. So where are we? We are in the next category. And if it's yes, no, not given, it's about writer's view or claim. So absolutely you need to find evidence, but here it would be an inference, it may not be ready-made keywords, but the entire para would be shouting out to you and saying, oh my God, this statement is a yes, because the context and the meaning is standing true. Oh my God, it's absolutely a contradiction. The para itself is shouting out that. So here, one line or two line may not justify in yes, no, not given. Little more intense close reading, a little widespread close reading would. Okay, so be careful, no guesswork. It's an inference based. Okay, yes, no, not given. And true, false, not given is fact based, wherein you trace keywords, you stop at keywords, and you make sense out of the group of the words, the collocation. Yes, no, not given. You look at the words thrown for opinion, facts and claims, and then you say with inference whether it's a yes, no, or not given. Okay, the para is absolutely clueless. And you say, oh my God, there's nothing. And I know I've already got the fourth answer. I got the second answer. And the sandwich should have been the third one. But there's nothing there. So I would give it not given. So Trust me, not given will not become time consuming when you dig 2 answers at a go. And you discipline yourself not to spend more than 1 minute per finding. Now comes the short answers. Yes, no, not given is also in the same order, and short answers also in the same order. That means the first answer will be found first for the short answer. The second will always come after it in the passage. Okay. Short answer is quite easy. This is what we've been doing all our life, reading a social study book, reading a geography book, or an English comprehension. We always answer what is asked after reading. So short answers we are very, very good with. Okay, but this rule of hyphenated words is counted as one word. Make sure you know this, okay? So far, so good. We still on to reading because IELTS Success Series is zooming only on the IELTS reading today. We want you to fight your fears. We want you to come out with your problems in the session. We want you to succeed, and make your dreams come true. And IELTS definitely supports you in achieving all that. So in the matching headings, which is a non-sequential one, that means answers would be haphazard. Always the options will be more in terms of the headers. You have to choose from the provided headers, and every para in that passage deserves a header. The master header of the entire passage is listed. That's called the title. And the title is the first thing you should read. You need to activate your mind towards the bigger information, wider information that you're about to read. One biggest mistake that I see students doing is not reading the title. They feel 2-3 words, what difference it makes. Oh my God, don't you want to open the door, of your brain to what's coming? So read the title, absorb the title, and always remember, title tells the story of the entire passage. And every para is a story. Every para deserves a title, which are already created, but you got to choose from the extra list. So you got to omit many of them, and you can't use all the headers, and they can't be repeated. So one header per para, no repetition of the headers. I hope you all know how to read paragraphs. The first line and the last line is the intro and the conclusion, and they should be read little slowly. And in between full stops should be read little faster, faster. So skim slow, the first and last line of the para, not the passage. Para is a small piece. Passage is the whole piece. So multiple paras make a passage. I'm talking about a para, 5 lines, 6 lines, whatever. Read the first and last together and then skim read. You will find a lot of cohesive devices to say, oh, main idea was there only. But if you don't find so, don't hesitate to find main idea in between also, because at times, like us, a lot of background information is given unnecessarily to start a para to confuse us. So you got to understand the flow and you're going to champion the flow. Okay. So here you are. I'm not giving you 1 para. I'm giving you 3 paras, but only 1 para has to be solved for the header. I want you to give me a header of this para, but this entire thing will come relevant. Okay. So the options are here. Take 1.5 minutes, take 1 minute, read the headers, then skim read the way I told you, then get into the choice of headers. Okay. Header is a summary of the para that it gets attached to. Swati, check your answer again. Check your answer again, Swati. You did not read. Okay, the others don't want to attempt, so we're not going to wait for them. If they don't want to attempt, I'll give you half a minute more, please. Correct, Swati. Thank you. Amneet, look at your question answer again. Once I show you the next page, it another has a question, then you'll realize why some of you are wrong. Okay? Because unless your all paras don't have a header allotted, there'll always be a certain uncertainty in one or two odd bits. So read this para. Those who are saying this as a third, they are incorrect. And here, if you look at this entire para is about what we are expected to do. And rest is all information serving, what does this involve altogether? So what people are increasingly expected to do is the answer for this. And those who gave the third answer may find a different story next page. Okay, I'm shifting to another question. Okay, read this question now, this para now, because the header list is the same. I'll go back to the header list or show it here, but read it first. I don't want to show the header list right now. Read this because you will have to choose a header for this after you've read. Now, choose. So, Amneet, we can't assume information. So there's nothing about neither. There's no keyword neither. So there's nothing called neither here. So a vocabulary evidence and summary evidence should be there from the para versus the header. So let's do it together. Companies that have suffered from changing their approach, there's nothing about suffering. I reject this. What people are increasingly expected to do, I found justice in the previous slide. So I'm giving the second to the previous slide. Now the third one, how to achieve outcomes that are currently impossible. This is the answer for this. Why? Because A, they gave an introduction by saying, the solutions in the current one are not possible because there are a lot of bottlenecks and other problems which are like these. But if we have such innovating one, which creates an environment which does not have hierarchy and enables everyone to be engaged as one organic group, not like a boss and a subordinate one, but as a team player, then the solutions can be reached. So this entire para is about how to achieve outcomes that are not possible today. So not possible or impossible would never be reached. See, such a strong line. Impossible ka synonym is a group of words here. Would never be reached. This entire thing can be summed up in one just main idea, and that is how to achieve outcomes that are currently not possible. So everybody, those who gave neither approach, absolutely wrong, because there was no vocabulary around that. So you cannot miss one important thing of not matching the vocabulary. No reading is complete unless you don't find evidence for that in that. Okay, so this is absolutely not a choice here for this para. Evidence that a certain approach can have more disadvantages than advantages. So a good choice here, yeah, not a weak choice, but there's no evidence so far. Is there an evidence? Have they given an example? This is just talking. What is an example where something has happened? It's realistic. Yes or no? So the person who wrote the fifth answer, evidence, are you with me? Do you understand evidence? Now, if I look at some of you who gave me any other answer in the previous slide, many of you said how to achieve outcomes in the previous slide. How can how to achieve outcomes come in the previous slide? Let me take you to the previous slide. Can I justify this entire para anywhere in that? I can't. How can a para exist without not supporting the main idea? It is not a disjointed part. No, it's a supporting part. But this was the main idea and rest all was supporting it. As I said, at times unnecessary background information, some extra stories are told, but they are relatable. But the main idea is what everybody is talking about or supporting in their own capacity. So please understand this more. Some of you may need matching headings practice little more. And I'm happy to bring it again for you, but in the master class. Okay, so tomorrow we have an IELTS master class, but that's tomorrow at 12 noon. Okay, so you can register for the IELTS master class. That's a 1 hour master class. I'll bring more matching headings practice with more paras. But remember, vocabulary match, summary match, both together makes the header choice complete. Now, if your header can keep the entire information of that para in itself, then that header is justified. So some of your choices did not do that, but others were correct. Okay. So Dinesh, today I've kept it handy. Yeah. And I'm going to post it for you. Okay. If Ankit has it, he can post it for the masterclass. Of course, Ankit always posts it for the skills for, success series, which is next in June. But masterclass also is there. So if Ankit can post, Ankit do post, otherwise I'll post once I finish the session because I need to get it from my mailbox. Okay. So another question category, which is the matching category, which is matching features. Now, this is very interesting and this is very scoring because matching features is dependent on at times proper nouns, and proper nouns are so easy to find out from the huge text also. Of course, those proper nouns can be repetitive because they want you to feel confused, but it's okay. A name may be repeated 2 times, 3 times, but the information will be around that name and you'll be able to match. So this is like a cakewalk. You should never lose marks here. You should never lose marks in matching headings. You should never lose marks in true, false, not given. And you should not lose any marks in reading at all. Okay. Champion it. But of course, everything can't be done in just one day. It takes time. Now, matching features has something very important for you to see. An answer may be used more than once. That means the option that they give, for example, they give you 4 names and they give you 7 statements, so 4 names for 7 statements. That means some names will be repeated based on the evidence that you find. So please understand the logic, why a repetition happens and why a repetition of an answer doesn't happen. Matching heading, a repetition can never happen because headers are unique and they are the summary of only one para. They cannot be assigned to some other para. Okay. Now, what is a strategy that I would like you to do? Do skimming for general understanding, scan for keywords of the question or the names, and then read information around it and solve it. But again, understand these matching features may look easy if it's a direct copy paste to the match. And at times they may also require some opinions to be understood. And that's where the slip comes. So please, opinion is about inference. So this also comes to play in matching features. Okay. The last but not the least that I want. Okay. The last but not the least that I want to bring to your attention right now is matching sentence endings. I'm going to repeat, this matching sentence endings comes in order in the sequence. If there are 5 or 6 to be solved, always the first one will be found first around the keywords, and the second answer would always come after it. Okay, so always go to the passage with 2 matching sentence endings to solve. Okay. And this is also based on a lot of main ideas. So you will know, which para. So probably there are 7 paras and 4 or 5 matching sentence endings. So if you read the first para after skimming, you will understand, oh, can it have any of such information? Probably not. Let me put my attention to the second para. So when you read, you should be able to understand, oh, this kind of para can have what kind of a sentence to its, finding. So reading purposefully, reading for general understanding, reading for key information, these are things that you need to gradually come up the learning curve. Nobody expecting you to champion it overnight. But since today is 1 hour powerhouse for reading, I need to be talking so much to you today. Okay. Here. More questions in this category are multiple choice, and they're always in order in terms of solving, and matching information, which will not be in order. And again, skimming, scanning, and finding information is what you got to do. It's a haphazard information. You got to match it. Now, when it's time management and you all feel, oh, the paper is lengthy, oh, it's very tough. It was tough because probably you have not had a plan of your strategies and you did not exercise them well in your mock zone. Okay. Probably you feel skimming is not important and scanning is a jump stage that you go to. And after solving 28 out of 40 questions, you seem to get stuck and those 12 look impossible for you. Probably you're missing out on the skimming stage, which is integral to make reading skills complete. Probably the way you read para, you read word to word. Probably you read too fast. You know, there could be various reasons because of which you have to reread it. So starting today, you will always pay special attention, slow attention to the first and last line of a para, and then speed read the content in between. Okay, that's the only way you can understand and comprehend the purpose of the para and the gist of the para. Keywords are paraphrased, keywords are in an active passive form, keywords are synonyms. So please don't expect what the question words are, they need to be ready-made for you in the passage. Sorry, information can come in various shapes and forms. Can you comprehend information and can you do it within the time? That's the skill IELTS is testing you on. Try not spending too much time and getting attached to a question. Every question is 1 mark. There's no negative marking. Idea is to solve all 40 questions. And if 5 were tough and you want to come back to them, come back to it. Have a detachment, move on. Okay, but keep your rough work ready so that you can come back to it and you can save time on it. Very, very important. Never miss the question. Okay, what was the question saying? Keep looking at the question, because at times we keep the question in mind and we go to the passage confidently. I know the question, I'll find the answer, and ambitiously we write the answer without rereading the question. Even if you have to read the question 2 times or 3 times while solving it, do that. Build that time management for yourself. Question demand cannot be ignored. It has to be looked, it has to be rechecked. Okay. So the power message from us today here is work out your strategies. You are unique. Where are you finding problem? Where are you taking time? Why are you losing marks? That's your personal reflection scorecard. Pick your top 3 priority areas. Start working on them. Have your strategies. You want to read question first. You want to read para first. You want to do only sequence-based questions first. Your call. But are you able to complete the paper in 50 to 55 minutes? Do you have time to check your paper? That's the skill that you need to be exam ready with. Okay. Have aim, achieve them, and then book your exam. IDP brings the best of the practice material. IELTSIDPindia.com is your one-stop shop. IELTSessentials.com, a Facebook of IELTS Essentials, preparation column of IELTS Essentials, the blogs of IELTS Essentials, and the whole series of YouTube is there for you to access. Okay, so just go on IELTSessentials.com. You will be able to see and navigate yourself from there. So I'm seeing what Ankit has posted, social media handles, Insta, Twitter, Facebook. Thank you, Ankit, for that. Ankit, if you have the masterclass details for registration, you can post. Next skills, next success series session also you can post. Okay, I'm going to go on the question answer, come out of the Q&A, come into the Q&A zone. Sorry. There's no question. Any questions you want to ask me that I haven't answered still, please ask me. And in the meantime, I'll access my mailbox and get you the registration link for the masterclass. Okay. Yeah, be with me. There'll be an unnecessary pause, but I'm sorry for that. So the next masterclass is 12 o'clock tomorrow. And I'm giving you the link in the chat. Harvinder, the chat link is there for tomorrow's session, 12 o'clock to 1:15. Okay. Yeah. So Thank you all for your patience. I know 1 hour on a mute microphone is not easy, but trust me, I keep special focus on the chat and I make sure I don't miss out on anything. If anybody's question has been missed out by me unintentionally, please ask me again. I would love to help you. So I have 2 questions, Nadeem and Atika. I'm answering that right now. Nadeem says, if I scored 5.5, I want 7, what to do? Nadeem, I spoke about your personal reflection scorecard. I spoke about picking up top 3 priorities. Are you having problem in time management? Is vocabulary a challenge? Are you short of skills in matching headings, or any other question? You got to shortlist your problem areas first, Nadeem, and then take one target and move forward. Every session, I try helping you move out of that problem. Like today, I looked at time management for you. If you know the skills, you are time managed. If you've not rehearsed the skills, you cannot be time managed. Yeah, Nadeem? So I'm there tomorrow also. Do a set today. Try using the strategies for yes, no, true, false, not given, matching headings that I spoke today. And Nadeem, and see where are you facing trouble further. I'll be happy to answer you in the session tomorrow also. Okay. So Atika, books, anything that's from authentic partners, IDP, Cambridge, Burlington English, anything that you have on IELTS, authentic material, you can look at it. IDP gives you a lot of material on their website. So visit IDP India. We want you to succeed and we give you material easily accessible. Okay. Naini, I'm looking one question. Write the question, please. And then we'll end the session. Okay. Oh, Prajapati, you need to get 7, at least 3 to 4 times back to back in your home practice to be able to replicate that score on the test day. You understand English, each day is unique. And when I was doing my English honors, I used to get such a good score with my professors. But in the final exams, when the outside college professors check your paper, I used to get a 2nd division. Yeah. And my professors used to get very angry because they know my English was very good. So they used to force me to get a reevaluation and then my scores used to increase. I'm not saying those professors were not good who were checking my paper, but at times you got to believe in yourself. At times you need to have some evidence. So my evidence was that I was scoring always very high scores in every paper which were done internally. So we were sure that my marks had to be good. So have that surety, and in case you feel you want to go for revaluation, you go for revaluation. Okay. Finding hard. Naini, I don't see your question. Sorry. I only see what can do, but I don't see your question. And Abhi says multiple choice. Okay. So tomorrow in the session, I'll do multiple choice strategy. But in case you can't come, I'll just tell you multiple choice is a sequence based. Look at the stem of the question. Don't worry about the drop down. If you find the stem, you will automatically understand the information around that in the passage. You'll be able to solve the drop down. Only the correct drop down has to be ticked. The opposite drop down has to be striked off. The contradictory one gets striked off, and something which is incompletely found in the passages striked off. So Abhi, the problem is people look at the stem, people look at the drop down, they look at too many things. Don't do that. Look at only the question stem and then find it. Once you found it, then pay attention to the drop down. Okay, Abhi? Amneet, we did headings today, and I promised I'll do headings tomorrow. Headings remain a little bit of problem till the time you do not prepare yourself for skimming and summary. So if you read a para, can you summarize it in one line? Then you know the header of it. If you know how to create a header, you know how to find it. Okay. So tomorrow, Amneet, let's do it and try to get full scores with me. Yeah, Harvinder, I gave the link. I'm posting again for master class and you can register. Tomorrow it's 12 o'clock. Okay. And Ankit, the session for success series would be in June now. And the details will be up on the website. And Ankit would be happy to share the link via the website because it's yet to be posted there. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you so much. You've been an amazing audience. And Ankit, thank you for all your support. It's me and Ankit signing off for today. Have a good day.
Thank you, Sujata. It was a wonderful webinar. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And wishing you happy practice zone and best of luck to any
Destination वाली class तो होगा।
exam,
तो
in this.
रहना चलता है post की बारी है।
All right, see you.
Destination
Bye bye.
Center no होने दे रहा हूँ मैं। हाँ, book करा है। तो booking ही है ना, main content जरूर है। Why I